Anyway, Theo says, of course, each of us should support our own, but, and I know he comes across as rough and abrasive, but he does have the best interest of the city at heart. That is why Calibros appointed him his position, and, I do definitely feel that he should be the next prince. You should consider, perhaps, given how important you and your friends are growing, throwing your weight in behind him.
Earlier tonight, me and Byron already talked to him about the incident. He knows pretty much everything you knew.
He stops. Now, I wouldn't be one to underestimate Kadir, but I don't think very few people actually know about Sevalod.
He seemed to not trust us.
That would be the natural reaction whenever a group of neonates, I imagine, say, "We don't have the objective you told us to get. She's with us Amitzi Autarchus, living in a mansion beneath Central Park."
Yes.
Ooh, he knows.
Arm still wave your face.
Well, of course, I'll have a personal talk with Kadir myself. I imagine he was a little abrasive. I'll make sure everything's smoothed over. There's nothing that can be done to get Leslie now. He will know this.
All right. That's all Marcus is going to say is all right.
Well, shit. Apparently Theo is, you probably would not want to be a Sabbat living in Jersey. He is definitely angry.
Man, Marcus must feel really bad about this.
So it's...
I think Marcus feels worse than David did after killing that hooker.
So I suppose this is why you... so what has it been that's just been keeping you so busy then? Just coming back from, I don't know, from Kadir?
Pretty much.
Well, at any rate, you can... The phone should be programmed enough it can redial this number. Beyond that, I will keep in touch should events with the traced number change.
I will attempt to look into that as soon as I can.
Very well. Good night, Marcus.
Yes, good night.
The phone clicks.
If there's ever been a worse series of nights, Marcus doesn't know.
Ain't that just a punch in the dick?
This is probably actually worse. This is probably an actually worse scenario for him than his time in Vietnam.
Because horrible, bloody rampages are one thing. Letting someone down?
The rest of the trip to the hideaway passes uneventfully, and it is very quiet here. Not any traffic at all. Of course, the noises of New York City are practically inescapable, and the light pollution is definitely around, particularly over the river, the East River, looking over at Manhattan. Regardless, you are all here.
Byron would look at Marcus after the phone call and say, well, perhaps not the way I would have handled it, but I guess that works out.
Theo Bell would have found out either way and it would have been traced back to us. It's better this way.
Yeah, the thing is, if Theo Bell finds this out, he may very well kill us all just to be on the safe side.
That was to stop the Autarchus from killing us anyways. That's the thing we live with, being vampires.
To stop anyone in the city from killing us.
You basically have to play the game as they come.
The Jihad.
To be fair, we won at the Jihad tonight.
Oh yeah, no, you won that.
I didn't intend to win, but I did.
But of
Don't you just love
course,
these hollow victories?
storyteller reminder, Marcus knew the entire time that the sheriff was along.
Yeah, is
I
that
just-
what you sent him? You said you sent him something over Skype or something.
Yes. That was the entire thing. And I didn't want to break his cover. I didn't think he would follow us to his lair.
I actually got sent something over Skype too.
Like,
Me
I
three.
didn't think he would follow you all. I didn't think he would follow us all the way to his lair. I thought he would, see we're going somewhere, see, okay, they're actually going in an elevator down through the thing.
You know, it's
No,
funny. We were even talking about this just at the end of last session. We were using Theo Bell as the guy we lured down there, but we ended up luring down the sheriff. That's almost better.
I actually thought that it was Theo Bell following us. I didn't get as many details as apparently Jordan did.
Ostex.
Right.
But I was going to rat him out. I mean, I would probably just piss him off just as much as,
As selling him to Hatsumitsu?
Again, I didn't intend for that to happen. I knew he
Right,
was
no. Hindsight.
We
Alright, guys,
didn't
continue.
sell him. We didn't sell him. He bought him.
Alright,
How-
go ahead and continue in character, folks.
Like, are
as-
we at O'Malley now?
Yeah.
Yo.
Ushering us inside, taking up the back of the thing, back of the group.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna head on into.
Assuming no one's trying to say anything. Once we're all inside, manage to close the door. I'd like to say, if we could have a small talk about saying things. I understand that some of the things have worked in our benefit, but revealing everything we have, especially with what we have, probably wanting to make most of the city want to kill us, I think it's best to play things as keep all of our cards face down.
I tend to play this pretty close to the chest. You guys know that at this point.
Yeah.
Yes.
Byron agrees. Also, as they're leaving the car, Byron will pick up his gun and then realize he has been white-knuckledly clutching that vial of blood, and he will put it in his pocket and pick up the gun.
That's a bulging pocket. It's a pint worth of blood in there.
Oh, well, all right.
It's more of a bottle than vial.
A flask.
Yeah. I don't know what he'll do with it then. I guess he'll just carry it with him. But
It's
he
a
will get the
baby.
gun as well.
Mark is just going to remain quiet. Because for him, today has been one of the worst days of his life. Or his unlife.
Yeah.
So, discussion of who to do what, who's going where, and what are we doing?
First of all, what time is it?
2:12 a.m.
Over the next few nights, we need to find out exactly who all is angling for the prince position, what their plans are, whether we might want them there, and if one of us, or rather, one of you, would be a better person for it.
I have a question. Do I lose any humanity for what I've done tonight?
No. You do. The four of you do not lose any humanity.
I'm just making sure.
No, you did not restrain and subdue the sheriff and escort him to Sevalot. Although you did know of the fact that Kadir was following you the entire time, it's not like you're the one who's bringing him along.
Oh, that does remind me of something I want to ask in question. In character. You mentioned you knew he was following us. When did you figure that out?
In the church.
The
He was
first
there.
awareness roll, right?
Yes. He had been there the entire time. Listening to you guys talk.
I had a feeling it was something like that.
Well, that makes me... I don't know how to make it at this point.
Well, certainly Joseph in character would understand with the power of Obfuscate he could pretty much do that with anyone, but anyone with Obfuscate would pretty much be able to do that back to him as well.
Yeah, but I'm talking about emotionally and mentally how he feels about everything, what he's willing to do. I'm still trying to feel that out.
Right.
I think we're all pretty in shock, in character and out.
Understandable.
Byron is a little relieved. I mean, he's in shock for other reasons, but this took care of a lot of loose ends for him.
You still have one major loose end. You
The
guys by
entire
the name
city?
of... You know that besides the city, that's something we're going to work on.
Theo Bell.
There's Theo Bell, and Theo Bell is not the sheriff.
Also, David Green. He's a loose end. When he wakes up, I think there's going to be hell to pay there, too.
We'll deal with him when we come to it. Right now,
I'd like
we
to
have to
ask...
worry.
You could just leave him out for the sun.
Could do other things.
I don't know much about him.
I wouldn't do that to Mr. Green. I would at least tell him before we made a decision like that.
True, but is that going to end up with us all dead?
I would rather tell him and pay. I would rather tell him and pay for our crimes than kill him like cowards.
I get all that, but...
Pay for your crimes.
Yeah,
kind of
Byron is
guy
not
is
going
this?
to...
I do not like the way we have failed you.
No, but
That's
what kind of guy is this fourth person?
David Green, the most idealistic vampire you'll ever meet.
And enigmatic.
I believe before you arrived, we were currently working on a plan to ghoulify, if you will, the leader of the Fratelli crime family. Why? Because they were making inroads in our territory, and for other reasons. He's an idealist and pretty much, I think, believes in the goodness of the Camarilla. What else is he? I can't really say. I really can't say.
I don't think any of us really can.
Yeah, Byron will say, what happened to David Green could have happened to any of us. And I think as one of us, he deserves at least the courtesy of waking out of torpor before we do anything with or to him.
Do you think he's someone that could be useful?
Very useful.
I know that at the very least he's someone that can be dangerous.
From what you've said, you could probably manipulate him pretty easily.
We could try, but the problem is David is also really good at manipulation. At least I like to think he is.
Sounds like you could dangle the sheriffship in front of him, though.
He might accept that. I say might.
Well, then I guess you should have a plan regarding him as well.
The plan, I believe, at this point is to, when he wakes, make sure he gets fed and healed up and then tell him everything that's happened. If he starts frenzying again, well, we'll just have to put him down again. If he doesn't, we deal with him from there. Does that sound like a plan everyone can agree with?
Define, tell him everything.
This... We seem to tell everybody everything. If
Here's the
thing,
thing, though. If we don't tell him anything, if we don't tell him something, he'll find out eventually. He was a police officer. He knows how to investigate things. He'll see the clues.
Whatever it is, we'll have very direct dealings with him. If we do tell him everything, we won't be able to hide anything from him.
Byron is just going to grunt and just say, yeah. I think there might be a few things you might want to leave out and let him make his own conclusions. But, yeah, we can deal with that when the time comes.
All right, then. It sounds like the plan is to do some homework on who the possible contestants for Prince tomorrow, and then make plans after that's done. Does that sound accurate?
Indeed.
Yes.
All right, well, if there's nothing else, then I think I'm going to go drink myself to sleep.
I wish I could join you.
Byron will say yes, and I need to be alone with my thoughts. And he's gonna glance at Jermaine with that.
I'll catch a ride with you if you don't mind. Back to Flushings.
That's fine. And I'll drive Joseph back to Flushings. And as soon as I've dropped him off, I'm going to call Match.
Okay. He actually ends up picking up. Hey, Jermaine! What's up?
You available tonight?
Yeah, man! What you want?
Just to talk about the stuff we were talking about before.
Alright, man, not a problem. At this point, I will now ask the four of you, do you all want to end the session here so the four of you as players have time to reflect and think about what you want to do, or do you want to continue?
I think that would be good.
This feels like a natural stopping point.
Agreed.
There is something I'm considering.
Alright.
Snap decision, yes.
Okay.
That feels bad to say. I'm going to go ahead and do it.
What is up, Joseph?
I'm going to go ahead and drain David.
Okay. This is a reminder here. You're going to be knowing intentionally that you are going to attempt to commit diablerie upon someone.
Yeah, jeez. I'm sorry.
Oh, Byron is not okay with this whenever he learns.
Oh no, I do not expect you to be at all okay with
So-
this.
I just want to make sure that...
I'm going to remind Sean as well. Specs.
Oh no, he knows everyone's gonna know. He's not gonna hide it. There's no way that he can hide that.
I can't stop you then.
I just want to make sure before that you attempt this, that you are aware of the ramifications of this transpiring.
Yeah, I think so. Unless there's anything I'm forgetting, it's laying it out. To Joseph, David's the single most dangerous one of the coterie. He's the only one he thinks will wreck everything from setting up. Joseph wants one thing, to get the coterie in power as peacefully as possible, but in power with the anarchs. David's not going to do that. David will wreck that.
So you're going to diablerize him instead of leaving him out for the sunrise, or staking him and leaving him down there indefinitely.
There's...
No, I mean, that definitely gives you power instead of just leaving it there doing nothing.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to just kill him. There's no way he's just leave him out in the sun. That's not something that he'll do. He needs to be able to gain more power. The coterie's not prepared to deal with this. We're all going to die, etc., etc. No, I'm still not sure. Okay. I'll stake him again and put him back in the thing.
You sure?
No, I'm not. I'm not sure one way or the other, 100% anything.
Then before you go making these decisions, maybe you should actually think about them and then tell Grimith what you're going to do.
No, this is
No,
really...
I mean, he can make his decision if he wants to.
Yes, this is an important turning point in the decision for your character to make. And if it's something that your character is going to be doing spur of the moment or whatever, if your character feels that this is the best for the possibility of caretaking or what have you, then, you should feel as if you are doing what your character is doing. I just wanted to remind you, as the storyteller, of the ramifications of this decision. To be blunt, he's in torpor. You can extend strength all the livelong day. You will succeed in drinking his soul.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, don't I have to make a roll to be able to even consider it?
No, it is something that you're doing. He's a vampire. He kind of bends the rules of, sort of like perhaps normal drinking things. He's not a kid. You'll of course have your sanguinary animism thing, but that doesn't apply either except against mortals. He's a vampire.
He doesn't care because he already sucks the souls out of living beings.
That's the other thing that crossed my mind is Joseph would consider, hell, he's actually a good guy. Having his soul might make him better. I'm not saying it's rational thought, I'm saying it's a thought. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and roll Conscious Conviction 8, and if I succeed, I'm not going to. He's not going to. He's going to stake him. David is too dangerous to wake up.
Okay, the Nosferatu has been restaked.
Which means that if his torpor ends, he'll be awake but paralyzed.
And eventually he'll fall back into torpor due to a lack of blood.
Right.
Once he starves down there.
At the very least, it won't kill him, no matter how long he's down there.
Sure.
What a fascinating twist.
Well, since nothing happened, not really a twist.
Was it
The
twist?
untwist.
Is that all then, Sean?
Yeah.
In that case, the session is over. No experience points. Too little time. Your characters need opportunity to reflect on things. So many events have happened over the past month.
I completely understand.
You all will be determining when the next start time of the session is. Match will end up not exactly returning to call because he'll end up hearing offhand that taking out Sevlod's not going to immediately happen.
I think that, I don't know, would starting the game 3 days from now in game time make sense to people? Give us time to research people, set up plans, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it depends on how long that research takes.
That's true.
But yeah, based on the research, I am actually completely okay with the 3 days.
What exactly are you all hoping to accomplish? You're just 3 neonates and 1 mercenary ghoul.
Who knows?
Well, completely out of character, Joseph's goal is to essentially get the city to stop fighting. He he doesn't care who he has to kill to get to it, but he wants the city to be peaceful.
I think the trick in this situation is to tip the person you want in power off to the fact that the sheriff is currently gone so that they can finally make their move.
Completely out of character. How would you feel about that? Eating David.
Oh, I'd find it a very interesting turn of events. I'd be slightly disappointed that I wouldn't get to play David again. I don't really get offended by this kind of thing.
Okay, good. Just wanted to check in on that.
Oh yeah, no.
Well, in that case, he's gonna eat David now.
I actually considered it for there, so because it's so torn on the idea. It's that much more power, and at this point need as much power as possible. And I considered for a second saying, just throwing it up to you, asking your opinion, and whatever you said goes.
Erwin will probably tell you to do whatever you thought was best for your character from your character's perspective.
Pretty much.
Yep, I know that.
As would I.
The thing is, I still don't know what Joseph would choose. I don't think Joseph would know what he wants to choose.
Well, then I think his choice is to wait and find out.
Looks like it.
It's want to do it? Do I have the nerve?
I don't know if you would have the nerve. Marcus wouldn't. He would definitely not even consider it.
You did.
He did when he was really, really hungry. True, that doesn't really give me excuse for it either way.
So, my question goes to Krypsyn. What does Byron do with the flask of Sevlod's blood?
Well, he's going to go home. He's going to stare at it a while, going through all the information because it was a little more foreign than even probably was for Jermaine, since he doesn't know anything that goes on with that stuff. and then when it gets close towards dawn, he's going to put the flask in the refrigerator or whatever, and go to sleep. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it when he wakes up.
Okay. That can be something. All of you, then, will have the luxury of taking the time, and again, you feel free to extend this however much you wish, and let me know what it is your characters are attempting to do. I will provide feedback and make rolls as is required.
All right.
I'll say, though, that for 3 days, it might be difficult to get a grasp of, I mean, again, I throw the ball back in your court here. You guys are 3 neonates and 1 mercenary independent ghoul. What are you hoping to accomplish?
Oh, and one other thing, just sorry to cut you off. The $10,000 we got, what are we all doing with that? Just because Byron will take it, put it into business, or we can split it 3, 4 ways, whatever you want to do. But we're probably going to need money to get information.
I honestly don't want to have anything to do with it, so Byron, you can do whatever you want.
Drop it into business, help to repair it.
If all of the money went back into the business, that would end up recovering it back to the resource data that is missing.
Then you should do that.
All right, that's what will be done. But anyway, I cut somebody off, so move on. Whatever you're going to say.
Right, so Match implied that he might be able to help me get people. If he can, I'll take advantage of that.
He sure can. As you've noticed, Jermaine would be familiar. Match has a rather derogatory view towards humans.
Yeah.
Ghouls tend to be an exception here and there. Jermaine has clearly befriended Match, but Match is doesn't have the highest humanity in the drawer, and by all means, those two can go on the prowl together. And with his help and his keen insight into people, certainly the process of identification for every day that passes, with Jermaine and Match working together, 1 person can be brought to Sevalod per night.
Then I'll be doing that. Aside from whatever the party has me do.
Do you bring that up with the group?
I don't think he would.
I'll tell you that I am doing work in my free time.
Then we may want to have a number of those be people from the city. I don't know. I guess he'd keep accepting them. He is a flesh crafter.
The point in this situation seems more to be about their minds, that they're interesting people. Anyway, I'll be doing that when I'm not doing
Did
work
you
for the party.
want to limit yourself to humans, or do you actually want to attempt to go after other vampires?
If the opportunity presents itself, I'll go for it, but I'm not going to put myself at undue risk. I'll consider it icing on Sevalod's person cake. Hey, he might literally be making them into a person cake. I don't know.
Just at the end. Nom, nom, nom. My God. It really is a cake made out of people.
At least
Soylent Green is people.
Well, I guess at least it's a better image than, a human centipede.
And Leslie Cutter is the stripper who pops out the top.
Ta-da!
Now Byron is interested.
And now I want to cry.
Where's your caretaker nature now?
Joseph's not going to have much humanity for very long.
Neither is Jermaine.
None of us is.
That reminds me, bringing people to Sevalod, That's got to hit my humanity for a while, right?
Oh yeah, every night you're gonna be making a conscience roll at difficulty 8.
Until I'm down to what?
Well, if you go down to 0, you lose control of your character.
Right, but I mean, this is bad. But when do I stop rolling?
That's a factual statement. Let me go ahead and take a look here. Let's see, you're at 5 right now.
Right.
At 0 is like a mass murder. You've got to kill like thousands of people to roll at 0.
Sevalot might be there.
I mean, let's
Right.
see
Someone
here.
might be in the negative.
Though actually, Sevalot's probably not even on the humanities scores. But...
See,
Right.
see, selfish thoughts, check. Minor selfish acts, check. Injury to another, accidental or otherwise, check. Theft, this goes beyond that. Accidental violation, oh no. Intentional property damage. Impassioned violation. Planned violation. I like that. That's at humanity 3.
So I got to get down to 2 before I stop rolling. Right.
Yeah, and you might want to get and see if Sevalot is on a path, and maybe you want to learn that one before becoming a vampire.
Maybe.
Oh wait, you can't, because you have to. Don't you have to have at least 4 humanity, or is it 6? You have to have something to switch over.
Do you?
I believe so, unless I'm remembering entirely wrong.
Okay, so how many days would we have? How many days would it take to get the sort of basic information about the political landscape?
Byron is going to be
Grimith.
bar hopping, trying to catch vampires and chat them up. And so, I don't know, at least a week, I would guess.
I definitely think a week is good.
Okay, so I'll make 7 of those checks then.
Okay. It's also worth noting, fair point, you cannot roll more dice in a virtue than you have dots in humanity. I just bring that up if you end up losing more humanity. So yeah, I suppose go ahead and make 7 conscience rolls. We'll begin with the first. That's a success. 2 successes. Yeah, you got the day 3 covered. Holy shit! Alright.
Wow.
2 failures.
Those must be some very interesting bad people.
You know, I tell you what, you rolled double 10s onto this. I'm going to say that, describe to me how your character would even attempt to rationalize this.
1, he doesn't know for sure what's happening to them. And 2, this is for immortality. They'll have forever to try and make it right.
And heck, some of those people may have been evil, right?
No,
Maybe
I'm not going to go that route.
Oh, okay.
If that's enough, that's fine. If it's not, I'm okay losing humanity.
You may have forever to make it up, but they'll have forever to suffer.
Right. Do you feel some remorse for your actions? These are just, people who've been living their lives. You don't know anything about them as you're ripping them away.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling guilt about what I'm doing and doing it anyway. I'm aware that what I'm doing is wrong.
Okay. These 7 individuals that you acquire end up being very interesting in their own sorts of ways. They actually also, this tends to be Match's preference, and Jermaine Grimith also all end up being female.
Match do what he do.
That's right. Oh yeah, I got what you need. They're like, yeah, he's got what I need, and bam! Suddenly, here we are. The match. You end up taking Matt's. Then at one point, he's like, "I'll be a motherfucking damn. This cat does have a mansion under here."
And then he's probably scared shit.
Yep. That's pretty much how that goes. No fucking wonder. What happened to the sheriff? Just your main points.
If he does a meaty thing with the touching on Joseph, he's spending a point of blood just so he can piss himself.
I love it.
But
just a red stain all over his pants.
That brings the body count to 8. Only 5 more. Cephalon will tell you.
Yep.
Of course, a reminder as well, there is another mission after that, but there is the side mission as well, if you can ever find out anything about what happened to his grandsire, Lombok Gruthen.
Right, and I will actually mention that to the party now that we're all working for him.
And of course, Marcus will have these vivid imaginings as he remembers Lombok Gruthen.
You'll tell the other. You'll tell the other two, not me.
Oh no, I don't know about your history with him.
Oh, you're gonna find out then.
Yeah. Good times.
Oh yeah, on that first night, I want to ask Marcus to start teaching me Auspex.
Get a little sippy sip.
Yep, and pick a
Does
point
Byron wish to learn Auspex as well?
Everybody learn Auspex.
That way you all can see the sheriff.
I mean, it got proved as pretty useful tonight.
Yeah, it's I'll think on that. I sent Grim a Skype yesterday. What Byron is thinking of doing. He's looking into fortitude as well. So
I can teach you that once I become a vampire.
That's right, ghouls cannot teach disciplines.
Yeah, the only person that I know of, and this isn't even in character, is Valentine has, I think, 1 point in it. Maybe, I don't know.
Well, you would know that since fortitude is a clan discipline of the Ventrue, Ventrue would tend to have it, as would, say, Gangrel.
Right. So I'll think on that, whether the events that have transpired lend Byron to want fortitude or Auspex more, because both of them would aid in self-preservation, which is where his head is at right now.
You know, I tell you what, you guys are going to be having a week of time pass instead of just a few days. Lots of things have transpired. You all had some exciting shit happen. We'll go ahead and give you all 3 experience points each.
Are you sure, Grimith? I was totally fine with not getting any.
Well, yes, otherwise I wouldn't have said it at all.
Just making sure.
Please, Grimith, don't actually give it to me.
But, you all lose a point of willpower. Which you may recover over the course of the week. The events of this session have been scarring.
Yeah. But does Rogue get me anything back?
It might, especially over the course of your actions. I'd say that with you constantly ended up working to do the things, it ends up evening out for Jermaine. But Marcus and Joseph and Byron are going to have to find their own means to recover willpower.
Well, what about Byron going to the sheriff and trying to throw Jermaine under the bus? That was kind of, he didn't succeed, so maybe you don't want to give him that.
You have to succeed.
Yeah, I didn't finish.
I have a question. What does being at 0 willpower do?
Well, it means it's great that you guys are taking a week off. You're increasing lethargic, and you pretty much want to do nothing, except for what your nature commands.
Which is live it up.
Perhaps that is a great way for Marcus to drown himself in his sorrows, then, by drinking the blood of, alcoholic people.
So pretty much Marcus is going to get nothing done for a week but get drunk.
That sounds fantastic. A week of doing nothing? We'll go ahead and... Yeah, we'll give you that willpower point back, Marcus, sure. You know, you have so much fame, it's gonna be so fucking awesome this week of doing nothing. We'll say you got 2.
I'm not going to say no to that.
But you get nothing done.
I am completely okay with that because Marcus would do that when he has 0 willpower.
Except getting your drink on. By getting other people's drink on.
Pretty much.
Zero willpower, and man, what he did.
Yeah, he's got to drown some sorrows there, I think.
What he was accessory to, because he didn't really do anything, which is kind of the problem. You know?
Oh, I agree.
Definitely so. So yeah, feel free to spend some time thinking about that. Talk amongst yourselves. We sort of know what Jermaine is going to be spending his nights doing in his free time, and Marcus is going to be unavailable the entire week. With some sort of vague thing like, meet up at the church on February 8th? Yeah. Okay. I got February 8th. Okay, bye. Yeah, Mom, love you, bye.
I liked that last part.
Pretty much.
I liked it a lot.
So, I guess at that point, what did you all think and feel about this session as players?
Well, it was a great session. I had a great plan written out, but after talking with the sheriff, that plan went out the door, so I had to pretty much fly by the seat of my pants and see what happens.
It felt kind of like the other shoe dropping to me. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
Explain.
I mean, like, the events leading up to this, this felt like everything finally falling into place, kinda. You know what I mean?
Explain.
All the stuff we've been doing, all the stuff we've been pursuing, all the leads that have been building up, up until last session, they've all been kind of coalescing, and it felt like it kind of came together in the last session with all of the revelations and the things that finally happened right at the end. And then in this one, we finally got to start seeing the fallout of the threads that had been building up. I liked it.
So essentially all of them tied together last session, and then in this session they did all of that tied together, took a huge chunk out of our ass.
Or leapt forward. Whatever. It's, yeah, I like the explanation. We finally got to see the fallout.
Also, we're going to go ahead and say that during this week, the ghouls will end up being taken care of. Your supercharged state ends up ending, Jermaine. As it turns out, the apparent state of the Zamitzi Elder Blood, what it does to you, lasts for a week. And then the effects fade away.
Good to know.
But naturally, your ghoul body had to consume a point anyway, so you end up back at 2.
Cool. I'll keep that in mind in case I ever need to be brilliant or powerful again.
Well, I hope Joseph and Byron get something done during this week.
Don't entrust Byron or Marcus with any information you don't want revealed, and revealed in a full fancy PowerPoint presentation with matching music in the background.
Well, I mean, earlier, a few sessions back, Joseph also kind of revealed too much. It's just,
He did, but I did it with intent. I did it trying to steer the conversation.
Right, no, I get that, but,
So, can you share some of the moments that you shared in the chat live for me? Whenever Byron and Marcus were talking with the sheriff.
Oh. Let's see if I can scroll up and find them.
Nah, it would have faded away by now. The chat's been so busy.
Yeah, it's gone. But I was saying stuff like, yes, I love this. It's the best. Oh my god.
I saw even Sean get it, like, oh my god!
Oh, and I was like, oh, this is beautiful. There's just spaghetti everywhere.
I think I did a great job of having the sheriff be someone who could just make you talk.
That's my favorite way of getting people to talk to, getting them to shoot themselves in their own foot by just kind of being silent and repeating back what they said in a different phrasing. You may even ask questions.
They weren't shooting themselves in the foot, they were shooting themselves in the face.
It's
Let's
like,
get that straight here.
so let's continue the narrative. And then like a question like, but how did... Well?
Well, no, and the best part was when he was like, so let's continue the narrative, and then he just restates what they just stated with different wording, and they just add more and more details to it. Beautiful.
Well, I mean, I was actually trying to be fairly cagey with Byron, but what am I going to do? Tell Marcus to shut up in the middle?
Meanwhile, Marcus is choking over his words, trying to get the sentences out.
I loved picturing that scene. It was fantastic. Oh, and him just stripping.
So yeah, we got what Aaron thought of the session. What'd you others think?
I thought it was a really good one. Like, although I didn't like being put on the spotlight as much tonight, I think it was a good idea for PvP to show off sort of what was going on with Marcus, you know? He sort of, doesn't say that much in sessions sometimes, and I was like, no, I'm gonna be the one to talk a lot this game.
I was perfectly fine with that. I'm glad that that Marcus ended up being the one who did stuff.
When I do stuff, it usually ends up hurting Marcus.
Yeah, by do stuff, you shoot yourself in the face.
Sean, Krypsyn.
That is awesome, though, that you took that. I feel like everything's gonna go to hell. We're all gonna die.
Probably.
Hasn't it been that way for like half the damn chapters in this game?
No, it has been that way for half the chapters. It's been that way since the very start.
That means we're playing a good game of Vampire. What?
Right.
The fact that we're all always on the razor's edge and we never quite die, that feels like an accomplishment.
I know there was quite a few people who remarked in the chat like, how the hell did Byron and Marcus escape? Well, obviously, the best way to send them to their deaths is for them to go find Leslie Cutter in whatever mansion she's under, beneath Central Park.
Well, he got that, and whether or not that was true.
It was a great display of manipulation, and I had a feeling it was happening.
All I knew was that I didn't have an inkling I was being manipulated until the awareness roll. And I'm like, oh, I see what's going on. He just wants to check out to see if we're actually telling the truth.
Along the way, if you guys got that Leslie Cutter, that'd be awesome. He was quite amused by the concept of, yes, go kill the sheriff.
I felt pretty certain that he was going to have you followed and spied upon. The part I was surprised about was that he was doing it himself. He didn't strike me as the obfuscate sort.
I don't think he trusts any of his hounds to do it.
No, clearly. I mean, that revealed a lot about his character.
Yeah,
Not that it matters now.
Apparently he was not the obfuscate sort. At least not good enough.
Clearly.
Well, he does have 3 dots and aspects.
I do have 3 dots and aspects. That's a lot.
And for a Toreador, obfuscate's not a clan discipline, so...
True.
I'm not saying that I don't understand it. I'm saying that he wasn't good enough to be doing that.
Yeah. Well, nothing would have been good enough in the face of Sevalod. Auspex is a clan discipline for him.
It is? Oh yeah, no, sorry, I was thinking something different.
Animalism,
yeah,
Auspex, and Vicissitude.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good combination, except for animalism. I don't understand what it's good for.
The
It
Zamitsi
can be
don't much
useful
like it
for-
either.
It can be really useful for controlling mortals, and if you want to manipulate animals to create custom-crafted vicissitude beasts. But
Right.
yeah, usually they'll pick up Dominate just because.
So yeah, Krypsyn, what'd you think? We still haven't gotten your opportunity to share.
Yeah, well, I liked it. I was a little disappointed that I wasn't able to bring my plan of throwing Jermaine under the bus to fruition, but I liked the reveal of the sheriff. Pretty good. I thought he might have us followed with all those roles that you had us doing that we were being spied on, but yeah, I didn't know it was the sheriff either. I didn't know he was going to be following us down there, so that was awesome.
I'm gonna say right now, this session actually surprised me too. Coming into the session, of all the plans I made, none of them involved the sheriff personally trailing you and following you down beneath Central Park, and then getting captured by Sevalod. So I too had to improvise, which is pretty much what I do all the time anyway. You know,
Yeah,
I crafted a few maps. I made a lot of details and background of what's currently transpiring in the city, machinations and what have you, and of course, I knew you guys were going to do a lot of character development as you all came to terms with what Jermaine did, and we'd go from there. But things played out the way they did.
I was actually saying to someone before the start of this game, I only give Jermaine about 50-50 odds to survive the party.
You survived, and now you're indispensable.
Yeah.
pretty much. And I will say now, I mean, Marcus is feeling troubled. Byron is happy as a clam. He did not like the sheriff. The sheriff did not like him. And that sheriff being gone, he's not that unhappy about it, actually.
Don't worry, there are other
Everything's going
vampires in the
right.
city who dislike Byron.
Oh, I'm sure. Although Byron is a pretty likable guy, so, but I don't know. He said some things.
That
He
said,
said some things.
Joseph's actually not too pissed, considering that he did sneak into his domain, his haven.
He's the sheriff!
It's
The
his
sheriff.
haven.
No.
He's the
Sheriff can
sheriff.
go where he pleases.
I know that. I know that. That doesn't mean it makes him happy.
At least,
And
at
remember,
least,
he
at least
also-
you're not Marcus. Everyone knows where he lives.
Everyone.
Well,
Also remember, he's an anarch, so that he doesn't have respect. While he does play to it, he doesn't actually have respect for the Ivory Tower or anyone in it. Like all the
You don't respect
positions.
Marcus?
He doesn't respect their position in the Ivory Tower. He may respect them as individuals, but not as like he'll respect the sheriff. He'll respect the Archon because they're sheriff or Archon.
well, you all would certainly end up knowing Kadir al-Asmai was very highly respected and to an extent feared by the Camarilla of the city. But he was not liked, really, at all. They respected his power as well as the power of the sheriff, the title, as well as the decision of Calibros to make Kadir the sheriff, and that to an extent is based on how awesome the Toreador was during the Battle of New York. Theo Bell clearly supported Kadir in being the next Prince of New York, and was quite possibly one of the Toreador's few friends. To make you all feel worse.
Oh, I don't feel bad at all, but I'm betting that Marcus does.
The only one here who feels bad is Marcus.
Pretty much.
Well, okay. I feel bad just because there's another person in the Samitsi's clutches, even though Jermaine is actively pursuing being embraced by him. That doesn't mean he likes what's going on. Does that make sense?
Yes and no. I mean, he seems like Jermaine to be fairly conflicted about it all.
He is. He's got a lot of baggage when it comes to the clan. And Sevalot doesn't really do anything to ease that.
I think we still don't know any. I don't think any of us know that in character. At least I'm pretty
No.
sure Joseph doesn't.
No, the only person I explained it to in character was Leslie Cutter.
Wait, was that while I was there listening in?
I don't know. I explained it to her on the car ride.
Oh, okay, no then.
Yeah, I gave her a long talk about his history, his personal baggage with this Smitsi, in an effort to make her understand that she shouldn't trust him, and that he was a monster that she was going to. If she had asked him to stop the car, he actually would have. And I think in many ways, he was trying to get her to ask him to. He's in a very conflicted situation here, but he's still going for it.
Did this session change your perception of any of the non-player characters at all?
It highlighted some of Match's characteristics for me, I guess.
I checked off the sheriff off of a list of people to be afraid of.
Yeah, fair enough.
Does that mean Sevalot increased on the list then, Sean?
Sevalot was the top of the list, and by the top of the list, I mean, if it was starting at 1, he was in the negatives.
Lombok Ruthen.
He hasn't met Lombok Ruthen. He doesn't. He'll be like, if Sevalot's -1, Lombok Ruthen will be like right there next to Kane.
I mean, he's
2 steps
almost
down from Kane.
He is almost right next there to Kane, man.
Sorry, 3 steps down from Kane.
Yeah,
he's only a Methuselah, everyone. Come on. He's only 4th gen.
Guys.
He only has 9 dots in discipline.
Goodness. Oh, I do have a question though about the information transfer that Sevalot gave to Byron and of course Jermaine as well. Would this allow Byron to learn anything about medicine as well? Considering that's kind of linked with vicissitude a lot.
No, the only thing that you can make an argument for is the craft skill, with the your specialty end up being flesh crafting, or rather body crafting. Body crafts. Not so much medicine.
New from Hobby Lobby.
Right. Well, I was looking at that. It's I didn't even do that. The malleable visage is not really that useful unless you have medicine. I mean, there's a lot of risk involved, so that's why I was bringing it up.
Well,
I actually do have a point in medicine, and I'm going to be picking up some more. For obvious reasons.
Well, the random flashes of knowledge aren't going to fucking give you everything. He unlocked the ability for you to learn vicissitude in like 20-ish minutes. I think that's enough.
Yeah,
it's a
I
pretty
just
big
thought
deal.
maybe it would. Yeah, I just thought maybe it would give him an inkling of that too, since they're related. So he'd be able.
No.
Because he doesn't have any points in it, so maybe he'd be able to learn medicine that way. That's all.
Nope.
On the topic of that, I'm glad Jermaine chose Byron instead of Marcus, even though it was Marcus who pretty much brought the...
Man, Aaron, you should have done that. I bet that would have made Marcus feel even better.
Well, here's the thing. Jermaine didn't know the details of the conversation between Byron, Marcus, and the sheriff. And if he did, he would have picked Marcus. But, as it was, he picked Byron. Also, as a side note, did you guys like what I was doing with Jermaine's voice there to try and show how he was feeling about the whole thing?
I didn't notice it, honestly.
Fair enough.
I did. I thought it was interesting. I saw where you're going with it.
I noticed sometime.
I noticed the pattern of speech was a little bit different than what you normally use, but I didn't. I liked it, I guess, but I don't know what to say about it. I did like it, I guess.
I got what you need.
He sure does. He's being quite useful.
I think after tonight, Marcus is going to learn how to lie a bit better.
Good call. Good call.
That's right. Reflect on what you think your characters have learned, other than quaking in fear before the might of Sevalod. He just took down the fucking sheriff, guys.
I'm
He
still
took down the
saving
sheriff
experience
one
points.
word.
Yeah, made him cry like a little baby. That's, yeah.
Like a little baby vampire.
That's right. First, there was a command for the lulz, and then he turned him into a sobbing, catatonic vampire. There's your sheriff right there, bitches.
Yeah, I'm planning on continuing to save up for the first out of vicissitude.
Can a ghoul even use vicissitude?
Yes.
As long as you're taught it, you can use it.
It just costs a point of it to use, so...
It's not really something that Tzimisce tend to do with their ghouls, not seeing the ghoul as being worthy enough of learning the craft.
But I'm more a prospective child in this case.
Right. And, it's not exactly something that tends to be taught a whole lot anyway, as has been noted last session. Sevalod is rather humane and understanding for a Tzimisce alien.
Clearly. But yeah, the main reason that Jermaine is trying to learn that is to try to impress upon Sevalod that he really is serious about this. Yep.
Besides, it might end up being your primary character.
Yeah. And I mean, I was aware that was a possibility too.
How about that moment? It's like, I'm just there, I'm looking at your name in the chat, and like, well, looks like we're not getting rid of Jermaine, huh?
I was trying to play both sides too with the questions I was asking him.
I'll tell you, I was totally blindsided by that, Sean. I was amazing.
You were?
You were? I thought I was the one that was most likely to do it.
I didn't know he was going to bring it up at the end of the session either. I was like, well, this is another chip on the table.
Well, I guess what it was is in character I wasn't surprised, but I was just surprised that you would even suggest killing off Aaron's, not whether he'd care or not, but just say, all right, I'll kill off the PC.
No, I think Aaron's a professional. I think we're all professional enough with it. Like, it's characters. They play the game, they do their thing, but they're not something that to get upset about too much.
Well, I mean, more to the point, it's my character. It's not me. I'm not playing myself in these games.
I'm not eating your soul.
A lot of people tend to get kind of attached to their characters in that they see their characters' achievements as their achievements. They see their characters as a sort of extension of themselves operating in the game world. And I don't really get that way.
Yeah, and also I just realized I'm being a little hypocritical because I was all for having Jermaine get killed. So
Yeah.
I mean that was my original goal. Talk to the sheriff, and so we have to bring Jermaine in. He has to answer for these crimes.
I'm going to tell you right now, the whole concept of vampires trying to push the blame onto an independent mercenary ghoul that they hired is a laughable concept.
Well, no,
I was just loving that.
Byron was hoping that he could do something with the forgetful mind thing and just totally just mess with Jermaine's memory on the whole matter, or maybe lead him into some sort of trap to catch Sevalod out or something. That's what his gambit was. How it would have worked, I have no idea.
It wouldn't have. He would have run up into willpower 9 with Iron Will.
Would have been impossible.
Well, but
nearly.
I have the voice trait, which lowers the difficulty by 2, and I have persuasive, and that's manipulation and subterfuge. That's 7 dice. So I mean, it's
memory
close.
manipulation doesn't have anything to do with your voice. It's entirely mental.
No, if you well, okay, yeah, forgetful mind, you're correct because there's no command. But I thought you actually, I'll have to look at that because I think you do give a new story when you're replacing memories. So
It's still mental.
be
At any
fun.
rate, with a willpower of 9, Iron Will adds 3. That's difficulty 12. Enchanting Voice lowers that to 10.
Right.
So, I mean,
That would be hard.
might have been able to.
You have just as much chance of succeeding as you do on botching, thus making Jermaine immune to your attempts at that for the rest of the story.
Right. Well, exactly. But the attempt would have been to have him strapped down.
And if you thought you broke the contract before, you just wait a god.
Yeah.
Like, wait, was there a contract? What is this? This is some kind of messed up thing now.
There's actually a story behind him having all of that willpower and the Iron Will as well. Mainly having to do with being a ghoul that fought off, having the blood bond.
But yeah, independent ghouls are severely distrusted because they end up knowing fragments of vampiric society, which is construed by some as a violation of the Masquerade, as only actual kindred should know of it. And the fact that without a blood bond he can't be trusted at all. As such, his opinion is lower. He is valued, for the most part, lower than an actual dominated ghoul. And so for you all to attempt to shift the blame on him, yeah, sure fucking laugh that out.
Well, there were bodies and there were buses. It always happens.
On the plus side for you, Joseph, the fact you don't have to worry about getting us throwing you under there again.
Yeah, you kind of unthrew me under the bus.
I both threw you there and brought you back out. But don't make me do it again.
I will kill you and I will bring you back.
Already happened.
Oh, and you all will end up losing blood points over the passage of time, the vampires. That won't be such a big deal for Marcus and Byron, will say, but Joseph! That's another story.
I'm pretty high in blood.
You just gonna go the entire week without eating?
Oh no, he has his herd.
Right.
He has the easy way to feed.
Yeah, but you also have sanguinary animism.
Yes, you also have single. It's never easy.
True. But that's what the setup is for with the room and the
So how many times will Joseph then feed over the week?
Every single time he's down 2 blood points. Which, considering I don't get any blood if I fail a roll, means...
every 2 days.
Yeah, at least every 2 days.
You might as well go ahead and make those rolls now.
So all of the internet can see.
So that passes 2 days. This is the 3rd day roll. Fifth day roll.
It's so weird seeing you roll so many dice on this now.
All the experience went to it. And this is final day to top off.
Okay. All the dice.
So he's topped off without ever having lost his mind. And it just took a month of basically hell for him to be able to do that.
I think the only botch that happened was the lead investigator's botch. That was unfortunate.
What are you talking about? That was great.
It was a sad thing. I'm like, all right, this guy, he's in his mid-50s. He's seen a lot of things in his time. But he hasn't seen anything like this, apparently. It was great. Yes, over the course of the week, there will be continued news coverage, as well as opinion pieces on how interesting it is that such curious things are happening, in Flushing, Queens. A lot of strife, particularly since it all seems to involve this man named Joseph Cheung, an elusive shadow that no one can find.
It fucked up my plan.
They think it's gangs.
I mean, there is an interesting, for example, there was that time where Joseph bought a van, and that van was found in the Bronx, and it was reported as stolen. Then there was that time where apparently there was a fight and someone crashed into the church with a vehicle. Then there was that time that happened where apparently there was another gunfight outside of the church.
Okay, so it's not the map that did it, it's the fact that it was already being completely wrecked from the start.
We'll have the bomb next session, I tell you what.
Some people are saying it's the triad.
We can put that off. We can put the bomb off.
I mean, if you're tired of worrying about it, if you want your character to actually die, quote unquote.
That'd be a good way to get rid of David as well. No.
He decided not to. He decided not to get rid of David. There's no reason to.
But him just standing there and watching as his church goes up in flames, knowing that he'll never get to eat David now.
The decision's been made for me! Fuck!
He'd be happy about that.
Yeah.
The decision was made for him. He doesn't have to worry about it.
I could have raised up at least 2 generations! I want to be 11th!
I'll be 11th generation. My
That's
stake in
mostly useful for dominate.
And not being dominated.
That's what I mean.
Alright, are there any questions or other things that you 4 players have from me?
No, I'm good.
I know I don't have any questions or comments other than it was still a good session, which I've already said like 4 times.
That's good. Keep repeating it. It's fine.
If you don't mind me asking...
Go ahead.
If you don't mind me asking, what did you think we were going to do? I mean, I had no idea how this was going to play out either.
I knew some time was going to be spent communicating with each other. I figured at some point you folks would try to get in contact with the sheriff, perhaps about what happened. I laid down the hook there with Theo Bell. Certainly, he could have been talked to more. More questions could have been asked for him. He knew about Vsevolod Cerveni, and he could have gone a long way to making a conversation with the sheriff so much easier. But that never happened. As a matter of fact, I mean, the fact that you folks ended up separating so that only 2 of you ended up going to see the sheriff was interesting development, as was the fact that Jermaine brought his fucking car back to the church. I had it set up so that detectives were going to appear while you all were talking, but as soon as Jermaine was like, oh, his car's here? Okay.
I knew that would be,
That's why you said, damn!
When you said you were going to get your car out of impound, too, this didn't turn out to be the case, but I'm like, what are the chances that they have a tracker or low-jacked your car?
Even if they do have a tracker on it, what's it going to tell them?
Well, the lead investigator did bodge. Maybe he didn't even think of that.
Maybe they put the tracker on the wrong car. What's he doing going to daycare every morning?
Oh, XXX Varo, you didn't miss anything. We've been talking and winding down the session. The characters decided to wrap it up because they need quite a bit of time to think about developments and what they want to do. But, yeah, there's the answer to that. with the hook there being, that's why I gave the option for, like, Theobel, which I clearly planted for. You can check back in those sessions. Theobel did bump against Marcus. I made a secret perception plus alertness roll. He didn't succeed. The phone was there, and Theobel was an option to talk to ask for advice, or you guys could have pursued the angle, the Jersey area code number being in the Bronx at a Pizarro self-storage facility, which it apparently still is, actually.
Yeah,
Now,
we may actually want to do that.
say, well, you guys gotta wait a week to do that? I mean, Theobel did say he might get in contact with Marcus if things change, but he might end up not. He's an Archon. He's a busy man.
He might get called off to go do something else in, like, other parts of America or whatever the fuck.
He does handle quite a swath of American territory. There are Sabbat all and up and down the eastern seaboard who fear him, along with the Anarchs, actually.
Well, there's going to be quite a few less Sabbat in Jersey City tonight.
Yes, he is angry. He lost a friend.
When is he going... no, that'd be too meta. I was going to ask, when is he going to realize that he's gone?
You don't know.
Right, like I said, that would be way too meta.
I guess he doesn't know he's gone yet. He's not angry about that yet. Right?
He's gonna be.
You also don't know their regular schedule of contact, how close they actually were. I mean, Theo did say that he was going to contact Kadir and inform him of the current situation, that Leslie Cutter was impossible to get to now.
Yep.
Yeah, and now that Marcus has said that we essentially told the sheriff where she was, I don't think Theo's stupid. He's going to put two and two together. He might assume that Sevalot has him at some point, or something similar.
I wonder what type of rash actions that might spur.
Will he assume that we have a hand in that, or will he assume that he just did something stupid? He's going to assume we had a hand in it and kill us.
I love that level of pessimism.
I think he's going to ask us questions, leading questions, and someone, not naming any names,
Byron or Marcus,
might give up too much information and we'll all die.
Literally anyone other than me.
Right.
Aaron will just be laughing with the chat the entire time.
I will.
Like, oh god, this is good.
you know what? In the downtime, I'd like to cut out both Byron and Marcus's tongues and sew their mouth shut.
But you weren't there. You didn't know what they... Well, I suppose you heard about it secondhand. You don't know what really happened. It was a great moment. I did like how everyone in the chat thought, like, man, they're gonna die, you know, he's gonna kill him right there. No, he's not. He's gonna make him useful.
Yep.
And if they fail, then he'll kill him.
He might have killed them anyway, even if they succeeded.
He made them useful, and now he's dead for it. You know
Well,
what? We should keep looking for Sevalot. He'll eventually die for it, too.
Certainly there was a lot of development for him. Like I said, I definitely did not expect Kadir al-Asmai to die. Well, he didn't die. I didn't expect what happened to him to happen. It was just a development, and since I knew his character so well and how he felt and what he would do, he responded accordingly.
Did you like how I handled that scene, by the way? The one leading up to the call?
I didn't have a problem with it.
Okay.
Laxtotes again. Don't give those two the ideas. They'll start drafting up the PowerPoint for the next time they spill all the details. I mean, certainly so. I mean, if the sheriff really wanted to get to the truth of the matter, he has disciplines. If Theo Bell really wants to get to the truth of the matter, he does too. And sure as fuck, you can bet Sevalot can get to the truth of the matter.
You know what? We're safe. They don't know how to use computers. Byron doesn't, at least.
I know how to use a computer. I could use PowerPoint.
Ah, jeez.
I could teach Byron how to use a computer.
Sure. I was actually going to think of talking to Jermaine about teaching medicine. Since Byron's going to, if he said
That
all
can't
of
be
it,
done. You actually
well,
have to go learn that somewhere. People do not teach each other, like, knowledges and stuff, especially since he only has one dot in that.
Yeah, I learned what I learned in the military over a pretty
You have to go to,
long
like,
career path.
classes, spend quite an enormous amount of time. That's not something you can get done in even a week. That's going to take an extended period of time.
right.
It was
well, I
it was
figured
medic training in my part.
All right, because I'm just looking at that. It's hilarious. It's 1 intelligence plus medicine. I'm like, man, Byron would never use this. He would be dead.
Does the chat have any questions? I don't know if they have any questions right now. Come on, guys.
What did Sevalon use on the sheriff? Well, there was a command involved, and then, the sheriff was apparently rendered catatonic, whatever that means. He used elder bullshit.
6th generation vampire can do whatever the fuck he wants.
In fairness, the sheriff did have 7 willpower. Only 7.
It's more than Marcus has.
Joseph's at that point. Jeez.
After pouring in a month's worth, like 8 weeks worth of sessions, he's just constantly in the experience.
Every single point.
Suddenly, yeah, I'm trimming down the experience points for you guys now. You've become too gluttonous.
Well, as long as like 2 next session or whenever, I'll be able to finally get a dot of Auspex, which I'm still not sure I actually want.
I actually haven't purchased anything with experience points on either character since the game began.
John Broman asks, what now? Well, the player characters actually themselves don't know. That's what they're going to spend the downtime thinking about.
It's true.
Oh, I know what we're going to be doing. Toga party.
That's right. What's the max discipline of Revenants? Well, that sort of depends. For most of the ghouls you end up coming across, 13th through 8th generation vampires who give blood to ghouls, their discipline limit is 1. For 7th gen, the discipline limit for ghouls is 2. For 6th gen, which Sevalot is, the discipline limit for a ghoul is 3. Dimitri is a very powerful ghoul who could have 3 dots in his disciplines. And now, so long as our good friend here continues to drink the blood of Sevalot before he's made into a vampire himself, he will also continue to have access to 3 dots for his disciplines.
Yep,
That's a big deal for a ghoul.
it is. It's a really
Slow
big deal.
down. Slow down. I don't think we really can at this point.
You guys have had every opportunity. Like I said, you guys are in control of the speed. You can go whatever you want.
True, we can, but it's a matter of what's going to happen to us if we do.
It's like I just told you right now. You guys let me know when the next session starts.
We said a week.
That's what it is. It could go longer if they want. It could not be as long. It's up to them.
Well, if
We
we're going to
get-
follow up, I mean, I don't know if we've decided, but we're going to follow up on the information Theo Bell gave, which I'm not sure Marcus even told anyone about that. Because you said after he dealt with that thing, which ended up being the sheriff, but I don't think you ever described it, did you?
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah, so unless you bring it up, then...
Marcus ain't bringing it up. He's kind of busy this week.
Exactly. So, nope, we can't follow up on that then.
There you go.
Okay, I can hear you now. Did you answer about the Revenant Ghouls? Good job, Angry Guys Creep. You can look it up in the archive later. We answered it. We spent all the time in the world talking about it, man.
Yeah, I'm not dropping frames or anything, so I don't know why they can't hear it.
Well, it's due to pilot error on their part. Whatever is going on their ends.
This campaign needs a archival wiki?
Doesn't sound like my problem.
It's definitely a pepcac.
Your mileage may vary. Could I go into more detail on any restrictions on the players? Well, like you asked in the YouTube comments, they were limited to Camarilla clan vampires.
That means no Giovanni. Darn it.
Sadly, because Giovanni would totally have been one of the clans I might have been interested in, because I find their interesting internal clan politics, well, interesting. Just saying.
Yeah, it's what's interesting is that's one of the first things I asked Grimith too. I said, "So, can we be Giovanni?" And that was a nope, right out of the box.
I just assumed, he told pretty much, I asked him what restrictions were, and he said Camarilla only, and I'm like, okay. Just went from there.
When I was fairly sure that Joseph was going to die, I was planning on asking for a gargoyle. I wasn't expecting to get it, but I was going to ask.
That's another no.
Here's something I'm wondering. If two characters died at once, could you start as a Tremere Gargoyle pair joining the party?
Wouldn't work like that. The gargoyle has no sense of self-freedom or motivation at all. The concept of a gargoyle actually breaking free of the Tremere is an exceptionally rare occurrence in and of itself. The most you could even hope to muster as a gargoyle is, like, over the course of your nightly affairs, having a few minutes of freedom from Tremere direction, where which you could actually think of things.
Fair enough. The only ones that actually have freedom are the independent ones, and you would never see one working with a Tremere at that point.
Yeah. After what was done to them, no. And similarly, a Tremere who bucked tradition so much, who was such a deviant that he would deign to work with a gargoyle?
That's like finding a Zemitzi who's part of the Camarilla. It almost never happens.
Well, that was the only major restriction. Everything else, though, like anything is, it's on a case-by-case basis. Can I do this? It's like the time where Krypsyn tried to convince me that his sire would have taught him the daemonian discipline or whatever.
I'm surprised his sire didn't teach him, the throw rock discipline.
Well, clearly,
Paulson
that's where the skill
Byron
was.
came.
And by that you mean throw rocks at him.
No, she was pretty nice.
Well,
to
how
Byron,
do you
actually.
learn Throw Rock?
Maybe the bite your tongue discipline would have been pretty fucking useful.
I don't know. He might have rolled too many successes.
Maybe you should have taken the common sense merit.
I thought about taking that, but then I'm just like, nah.
No, when would that ever come up? When would I ever do something so stupid that I'd need that? I love it.
I'm sorry if you heard something a bit of ago. There's someone vacuuming outside my room.
What happens if David dies and Jermaine's contract ends, or he dies too? It's a mystery!
Maybe I'll get a third character. Maybe I'll get kicked out of the game. Who knows?
I did tell you to cherish this backup character.
And
Can you...
I have been. This has been a fun character.
Especially when you fucking derailed the Coteries' plans at the end of last session. That's great.
I want David
I
back.
honestly didn't ever expect my nature and my motivation to line up so perfectly in the game.
The stars aligned and little Cthulhu came out to play.
Oh, strange,
I mean-
because I think you planned it that way.
Oh no! I didn't expect the situation to present itself. Or if it did, I expected, Byron to be the best pick or whatever.
And Sevalod was designed before David went into a torpor. I had the character in mind whenever the compact disc was sent to you. with Tuatha Lumea written at the top and the -V at the bottom.
Right.
Yeah, you have too many high-powered NPCs with the V at the beginning of their name. So
Valentine, Sevalod,
Carter as
Underway.
well.
Carter? Yes, C.
Vanderwiden.
That's his last name. He's not a one-named person. Valentine and Sevalod do only have one name, yes.
Yeah,
Although Sevalod actually has two. Valentine's the only one who actually has one name.
Yeah, but I just remember thinking, it was like, who could that be? And so the only two with V's in their name at that point were Carter and Valentine. So no idea there's a guy under Central Park.
Well, of course.
You didn't? I thought it was obvious.
Me too. I thought I'd do this, man. Byron, get on the...
It was kind of the fucking point that no one would know.
God, what rumors did you guys get at the start of this?
And his name was designed so that you guys would naturally just brush it under Valentine's rug.
Right. Hence my comment last session where I said, the V is silent. Derisively.
Byron should be able to flesh shave his tongue away at some point. Well, he would definitely fail in the flesh craft. Really possible. But I mean, you can, if you're feeling so bold, you can attempt to improve your appearance attribute using it. Like difficulty 9.
Speaking of which, at some point, if he manages to become a vampire and learn vicissitude, all kinds of ifs, Jermaine is going to try to fix the scars, bring his appearance up, and then make a body look like him. Because frankly, he's already getting old enough that it's hard to explain how he's still alive and looking this good. Or this healthy.
In his mid-60s.
Yeah, he's in mid-60s. And he looks like he's in his late 20s. Just saying.
Just saying.
So many hypotheticals that'll apparently be derailed by the time the next session starts.
Totally.
What about those halcyon dreams of, getting Vito Fratelli as a ghoul, or visiting Dragon Metro Cab Company, or... What about the time we tried to explore Muncie Hudson Expediting and Storage?
Vito who?
The funny thing is, if David ever wakes up, that will still be up there in his plans.
He gets an early release. Son of a bitch!
Then I'll have to find some other way to influence these crime families. Dun, dun, dun.
Is there any plans of going to different parts of the country, world? No. Chronicles set in New York City.
Yeah, I don't see why there would be need for it.
I mean, I think the only other place that we might go in the different part of the country would be Jersey, and that's still pretty much just New York City.
Across the fucking
still
river.
New York City metro area.
Yeah, pretty much. That'd be it.
But, just a trip across the bridge away is, actually enemy territory, too. That's good and nice localized plot. Yeah, localized.
Most World of Darkness games are all set in one city.
Most World of Darkness games aren't set in New York City, though.
Big city.
And also such a grandiose opportunity. These guys aren't, taking orders all the time from, say, their sires, or the prince, or their various primogens.
I mean, had we been in, like, Chicago, this game would be entirely different. There's an entrenched Camarilla there, or whatever. I don't know what's in Chicago. But there's an entrenched power structure there that we would have to conform to. Here, the power structure is sort of wibbly wobbly.
It is definitely more shaky now.
Considering we killed guy in charge.
Stop reminding me.
You didn't kill him.
We
You
worse than
eliminated
killed
him.
him.
So Mookie's like, how do you know, like, the sheriff's gone? And I said in the fucking chat myself, no, he's gone. With a capital G.
Anyone that goes down, that goes into his thing, and doesn't walk out by the end of the night is gone.
Not dead.
Yeah, I just think that if we ever see him again, we won't know what we're looking at.
That's probably pretty accurate, actually.
Heck, if we keep going down, we may very well see him again. All over the walls.
No, something to keep in mind is that bone railing on that grand stairway. That's probably alive.
Yeah, pretty much every piece of his house is probably made out of someone.
Well, the marble statues probably aren't made out of people.
I'd bet many they are. He'll have figured out. He's 6th gen. He'll have figured out a way.
Flesh to stone.
Oh God, we're playing D&D now.
I mean, he probably has thaumaturgy, so I suppose he could maybe do something. I say probably. I have his character sheet up right now. I don't know. Yeah, I actually made a character sheet for him as I did Leslie Cutter. They were so important. They're more than just notes in a GM box. They have specialties. Leslie Cutter had specialties. She had bonuses whenever she rolled 10s for things.
Spooky.
Bust open the statues, live models. There's so many people you can save in there. So many.
Is it
And
wrong
we're
when he
just
said?
throwing more down there.
Is it wrong when he said bust open the statues? I immediately thought of Ghostbusters.
Yes.
Gozor. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I like
it's,
that.
it's
movie.
wrong that you thought of that.
I really like that movie.
No, I understand, but now that you know what's wrong, you can work on apologizing and, coming to terms with it.
So Sean there had a question he wanted to ask about, potential ways the session gone. Anyone else have any, Krypsyn, you have anything?
I was a little curious. I mean, this goes, if we'd gone a different direction and somehow gotten Leslie Cutter back, I wonder what she would have looked like, or if that was even a possibility. I'm just curious.
You would have to... Well, you guys basically explained it yourself. He's got a great access point. To get to him, you have to go in a shack in Central Park, down a long spiraling staircase, down an elevator for several minutes, into a wide open expanse deep beneath Manhattan, where that's the only escape route you know of. If, say, he destroys that elevator, how the fuck do you get out?
Yeah,
Well,
How the
that's
fuck
pretty
do you
much...
get down?
Yep.
We'll have to walk straight in.
Well, no, what I meant was if the sheriff had not followed us and had we gone in there and given our whole things and somehow convinced him to do a trade for some kind of
He's
job.
basically wondering if there was anything he could have negotiated for.
There is nothing you guys could have offered that would have made Sevalod, at least that I can think of. That's not to say you folks could not have surprised me, which you have before, but there's nothing off the top of my head I can think of that Sevalod would have taken over Leslie Cutter. He wanted her for a reason, and he was willing to completely sweep the blackmail under the table in exchange for that. Which he's done.
So we assume, anyway.
Well, it would be unfortunate if the material did appear, but he doesn't exactly want the Masquerade to be broken himself anyway, or so he said. He might not even be 6th gen, guys. But he kinda did cripple the sheriff with just like 2 uses of discipline, so he might be powerful.
He's 13th gen. He has some special discipline that let him to do that.
He had an
He's a
artifact that allowed Jermaine to find Leslie Cutter.
He's a thin blood like Cutter was. That's why he wanted her. And he just had one of the special thin blood disciplines.
There you go. What we thought is a 6-dot ability is just a thin blood discipline.
And the reason Theobel is after him is because Theobel is actually the Scourge.
Dun, dun, dun.
Say no. Now, you guys ended up. Aaron talked a whole lot about last session towards the end being where the plot threads come together, and this session being where the fallout occurs. There's so many other plot threads you have dangling, right? What plot threads do you guys have dangling? What don't your characters know still?
Well, there's the Sabat be taken care of. That one. I'm not so sure how dangerous he is. Obviously, fairly dangerous. Any one person can kill us. But
There's the situation with Valentine and the Fratellis.
There's the thing. There was a thing that was trying to kill Leslie, and was still following her.
Yeah, the Ouroboros myth. That's a big one.
There's Theobel's motivation in all this.
What the hell is going on in Staten Island? What the hell is going on with the Gangrel? We haven't even talked to them, or Prince Pro-Tempore Calibros.
We don't know what the Sedites or the Giovanni are doing, and they're practically in our backyard.
Or the Tremere. We don't know what the hell the Tremere are doing.
Never had a thing with the Tremere in 8 chapters.
The Warlocks might be very helpful.
and we don't know what's happening over in Jersey.
Well, I can honestly tell you right now, what's happening in Jersey is probably in our best interest.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but eventually he'd stop killing them for a little while.
So yeah, there's still tons of stuff we don't know. It's just a lot of the major threads that we had been following closely at that point came together. And then this.
Do I have a specific end in mind for the game? No. There are numerous outcomes I can foresee, but then again, I didn't foresee where this session would go. The fact that Kadir died, well, not died, he's gone, the capital G. The fact that he is gone reshapes the entire landscape of New York City. Massively so. I didn't plan on this, but I was willing to roll with it based on what I knew about the character and what he would do, and since nothing transpired to stop, he obviously trusted in himself, and that fucking stopped when he came face to face with a goddamn 6th generation vampire.
Yeah, I kind of want to know what was going through his mind. Just fuck, I want my mommy. I really.
What was coming through his mind first was Neil, and then his mind was shattered under the effect of whatever the fuck Sevalot did to him.
What about when he was traveling down with us? I mean, did he not maybe consider we were telling the truth? And
I gave some description for Jordan and the IM about what he appeared to be feeling.
There's a dominate psychic attack, right?
I believe so.
I mean, there's certainly other things. Among things, there's a presence that's an elder power that's like a paralyzing glare that basically renders people into catatonic states, and with enough successes, you can put them that way for an entire week. I believe that's the 6th dot.
Yeah, and as you have said, once you get to the 6th dot, pretty much all bets are off. You know, if you
right.
Once
you go into 6 dots, those things are suggestions. But an elder is more than capable of researching his own use of a discipline.
And he certainly had enough time alone, sitting there, doing nothing but sitting under Central Park.
You have no idea what he was busy with down there.
Back to that question of when it's going to end, though. Probably whenever there's a total party kill.
Or when Grimith stops having time to run it, or whatever. All kinds of ways to spend.
Yeah, but total party kill is very, very likely soon.
It could happen.
Perhaps the acid blood Dantos was some sort of crazy chemistry illusion that he played on the player character.
Could be. Maybe he just edited our memories and none of that stuff ever happened. And every time we've gone down there, it's just been a single Nosferatu who's pretty good at dominate.
It's Calibros. He lives under Centrifuge.
Calibros. And so
No, it's
all
just
of
a-
these...
It's
all
just
of
a
these... Go ahead.
it's just a Malkavian elder with demontation, like 6 or 7.
You're all actually
Sure.
strapped to chairs somewhere. You're not really
Why aren't we dead?
vampires.
Yeah, no, this entire game has just been a case of an unreliable narrator taken to its logical conclusion.
No. But the whole concept of the Razor's Edge thing, that's something that I've been striving to build up, and of course as you all get invested in your characters and in the world around you, that only makes things better. And I'm glad that I have been able to do everything in my power to help you all get invested into the world so I can peel it away from you.
And there goes that piece.
Sheriff?
Yeah, I will say I'm sorry to see him go. As a character, I thought he was a really cool character.
Certainly so. But, you know, I have a lot of characters. There's over 200 vampires living in New York City.
But there's one less tonight.
There is.
Well, technically he's living, and technically he's inside New York City.
I mean, he's just gone. He's not dead. He's just gone.
You might wish he were.
Dantos misses Blockhead, and so does Mookie. Well, perhaps the party has not seen the last of Blockhead. They've been pretty busy doing other things, though. They don't have time for mere mortals such as the Fratellis.
We have to kill the Fratelli just so we can Ghoul Blockhead.
Implying that Blockhead isn't already some kind of fantastic elder being.
He's like a
Implying that
fucking
Blockhead
werewolf.
Implying that Blockhead isn't Vsevolod?
Implying that Blockhead isn't Lombok Ruthen.
Implying that Block isn't Kane.
Implying that Blockhead isn't Yahweh.
Okay, now you're just being silly.
Now you're just being silly.
Kane was a stretch enough, but no, you got too far. No.
Exactly.
Kidding. But yeah, like I said, the session could have definitely gone for different, and you know, I did think that, especially whenever Theo Bell was on the phone there, whenever he called into church, that you know, a variety of information might be asked, or that Marcus would attempt to call him, perhaps after the incident with the sheriff. It was suggested as a possibility, but then Joseph said, "Nah, he's just gonna say the same fucking thing to us," and Byron's like, "Yeah, you're probably right," and then it just got swept under. But like I said, it was certainly a possibility. He clearly understood the situation a hell of a lot more. And apparently he is a fucking Archon that kind of outranks a sheriff, so he could have explained the situation. And Jordan could certainly tell you that apparently the sheriff didn't fully understand everything that was going on either.
No. He believed we were making up the entire story about the vampire.
Not to mention he might not have fully understood the importance of Leslie Cutter or anything, since he was so interested.
No. From what I could tell, the sheriff was only begrudgingly letting me talk. He had already pretty much assumed that I was making something up.
Yeah, I did notice that. I mean, Byron would have seen it, but I don't know what he could have done except take over for you, which may or may not have ended better.
Did Aaron crash, or just disconnecting?
No, I just disconnected from the map tool.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here walking around, and I mean, I've been. Guess Grimith made the decision for me.
Yeah, it was open for a while in case anyone needed to roll stuff. But I mean, to get to the point, of course, the answer that I always give, as much time can pass as the player characters want, events in the world will continue to transpire without them during the sessions, but that's alright. They really do need a lot of time to reflect on what has happened. There's been a lot of things that happened during the month of January.
Especially Marcus needs a lot of time to just forget.
There will be that week of getting drink on involved, yes, and Jermaine, of course, is going to be very busy as well.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess I'm not buying the Auspex next session then. I wouldn't have gotten a chance to.
Yeah, yeah,
I probably didn't even get a chance to get blood, so...
No, Marcus is kind of...
I'm pretty sure Marcus, pretty much after everyone got there, pretty much said, I'm going out.
Say that.
And that was
You tried to show up at one of the dives? Huh, Hollywood? Oh god, no. He's come to learn the secrets of thing.
Yeah, I think that we all kind of, in character, need some time to decompress after all that.
Yeah, the thing is, if I tried to do that while he was drunk, he'd probably teach me throw rock.
Have I read Dirty Secrets of the True Black Hand? What the fuck is that? Some sort of... The name just sounds like it's some sort of expose. It's stupid.
I'm assuming
It's
it's
about
some...
the secret police of the Sabbat.
Well, I know that. I know what the Black Hand is. The name just sounds stupid. Dirty Secrets of the True Black Hand. Like...
Yeah, well, World of Darkness does have some dumb book names, fluff book names.
Especially Old World of Darkness.
Does the restaking reset David's torport? No. The stake wasn't why he was torpor.
Staking in... It makes them paralyzed, that's all. So when he wakes up from torpor, he'll have a few excruciating days lying there with a stake in his chest before he slips back into it.
Does it actually just paralyze him, or...
Yeah.
He is completely paralyzed.
You're still aware, though.
Oh, okay. I don't know what this rule said. I remember Requiem, it put them in a torpor.
Yeah,
He'll fall into torpor after he runs out of blood and moisture in his body. So way to go. Way to go, Joseph. Good call.
Well, it will basically put him on ice indefinitely until Joseph's ready to bring him out.
It's going to do wonders for your derangement, too, huh?
No clue. Maybe it'll give him 3 days to meditate down there.
Well,
Soothe his mind.
May just pull it out beforehand, too. May pull it out, put it back in, pull it out, put it back in. It's not doing anything at the moment.
It might switch every other night. As he second-guesses himself.
One night he's pulling out the steak, putting clothes on him, dressing him up, sitting him down, having tea with him. Next time he's steak thrown in the river, fishing back out.
No, the time is not reset. He is not in torpor due to the stake that's in him. That's not why he fell in the torpor in the first place. He is in torpor for an entirely different reason. The stake has nothing to do with it.
You got shot in the head and your throat ripped out.
Dude man had bad things happen to him.
I mean, Marcus literally attacked him with his fangs, and that does aggro damage.
Using the natural weapons of being a vampire is pretty much the best way to go into combat in this game.
Yes, just go ahead and go for that with Sevalada. I'm sure you'll do fantastic.
Generally speaking.
You're
best
like...
way to combat Sevalada is using explosives to bring down huge amounts of the city on him.
No, I like your idea of a source block of lava.
Right?
Well then what you guys will have to do is get a bucket. There will be no buckets in New York City now.
Well, then we just have to dig until we find some iron.
Anyone take the mining skill? Anyone
Darkness.
understand geology knowledge?
World of Darkness, Minecraft edition.
I'd play it. Wait,
I mean,
how many clans would creepers have?
all the clans. I think we're finally reaching the end of this session.
I don't know.
You, it's time to start homebrewing this shit.
No.
Mm,
Shit's already complicated enough the way it is.
I would rather play Fatal.
Now it's over.
What have you done? Fatal?
We're done here.
Really? Really?
We're done.
You made babes cry. There are
Is the-
babies in the world crying because of you now.
Jen, is there anything else that you feel compelled to ask? I believe the players have been all tapped out and they need time to refresh themselves and think about, oh god, the next person that could be captured is me. Look what happened to the sheriff. I'm glad you all still find Zevlon creepy, by the way. I think I
It's
just...
horrifying. If anything, he just keeps getting creepier the more we realize that no, this isn't a fucking joke. And these funny things that he's doing aren't actually funny.
That's right. His weird accents, the curious affectations. Not funny.
Yeah, no, he's not doing that because it's goofy or he's zany or he's trying to get on our good sides. He's doing it because he's broken. And, like, really, truly, and properly broken.
All things said, I'd still vote for dropping Manhattan on him.
Oh yeah, sure.
That wouldn't cause any loss of humanity at all.
That's pretty much what it would take.
Only
Even if
way
it just
it
melt
kills
into the
us-
ground or something.
Oh jeez, it's always something else.
It just melts up through the ground.
It's worth noting you guys don't know what you can do, and there's not a whole lot of research information or help you can get on him. Because
Seriously.
Sheriff of fucking New York City didn't know about him. The only person you know that knows of him, outside of the fun that lives there, is Theo Bell.
Theo Bell, can you help lapse all of Manhattan?
I think you've broken Grimith.
I just have this visual in my head of how you will attempt to ask Archon Theo Bell, this fucking Malkavian.
Just like that. If I was gonna ask, it would be just like that. Theo Bell, can you help us collapse Manhattan? There's no beating around the bush with that. If you're asking someone to collapse one of the biggest, a chunk of the biggest city in the world, you just ask. You don't play around. You don't pussyfoot around with that. You just ask.
I suppose not. Alright then, that takes care of the session. Then if you folks have anything that you players have anything that you want to talk about, ask me. Of course, feel free to talk with each other about things. To some extent, two of the characters will be busy. Jermaine doing his nightly things with Match, and Marcus is going to be completely unreachable until the session picks up on February 8th.
So yeah, Byron and Joseph.
Yep, Byron and Joseph. They're
Figure this
free
shit
to, you're free to go by whatever means necessary, of course. Joseph and his ghouls are going to be a little bit busy as well, continuing to juggle, apparently the continued media interest that's not exactly going to go away, because no vampire's going to dispel it for him.
I should be able to. I hope I should be able to dissuade some of that into gang explanation.
Well, your ghouls can do a little. They can only do so much.
The best way for you to spin this is to get an actual gang conflict going in Flushing.
Yeah, he's considering eating someone's soul. He's not going to start a gang war.
Oh, it doesn't need to be a war. It just needs to be one shootout. One to get them to pin it on people.
Yes, Dantos, they can help crush phones.
Yeah, and if you know two rival gangs, Byron might be able to shift memories around and make them believe a slight occurred or something. So he could start a gang war.
It would be such a tiny push.
There are
Right.
definitely many, many, many gangs spread out across the entirety of the 5 boroughs. It could be a thing that could transpire.
Flushing's not a high-class place.
So yeah,
Oh, yeah, well, that's part of the week.
start a conflict in your neighborhood. Bing bang bosh, you're done.
That's for you. That's for you to work around, though. 'Cause
Perhaps with Byron.
Marcus and Jermaine, on the other hand, they're a bit busy.
Yeah, my plans for Byron in the next week would be, one, try to get this $10,000 into the business and work it out, and that's going to take some time.
Yep, that'll also be an automatic success. As it turns out, $10,000 can open doors.
I mean, it would probably really just help speed up the renovations and transfer of stuff.
Definitely.
Right. Yeah, there's that, and he probably will want to go to, I don't know how much luck Byron would have with this, try to get information on all the people buying, well, not all, but any that he could, people buying for the princedom. But, I mean, Byron just doesn't know really where to meet those people, anyone that would know anything. So,
That's right.
but he'd try.
You'll have to tell me how you go about doing that.
I'll have to think on that. Byron has to think on it, too. So,
Any final words for you two?
Fuck YouTube.
We love you.
Call me.